While the police frequently celebrate large numbers of arrests, how many of those arrested occupy senior or leadership position within these cartels, as opposed to being low-level runners and users? Finally, is the Honorable Minister aware of any link between these cartels and officials working at our ports of entries, border posts, or within our own police force? And if so, what measures are being taken to root out such collusion? Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the same date, the 11th of September, I would also like to pose questions to the Minister in absentia, Minister Lindau, Minister of Health and Social Service. This week, the Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters learned with great concern that thousands of sick and vulnerable patients were forced to wait for more than 8 hours at the Katutura Clinic, where they were attended by only one doctor and a handful of nurses. We have it on good authority that extreme pressure on this doctor led to heated exchange with frustrated patients, with the doctor at one point threatening not to save some of them, while also desperately attempting to secure assistance from colleagues. This apparent condition of delays and poor service delivery persists despite your own pronouncement that private hospital doctors would volunteer their service in public health facilities to ease the burden. In light of the above, I shall then ask the Minister, how many private doctors have to date availed themselves to serve in public hospitals and clinics under this initiative? Can the Honourable Minister inform this House what measurable differences these volunteering doctors have made across the country, particularly in fast-tracking service delivery to sick patients and expected mothers? What is the current status of doctors trained at the University of Namibia who were previously excluded from employment on the grounds of academic inadequacies? Have they been reassessed, retrained, or integrated into the system? And finally, since assuming office, Honourable Minister, outline what concrete improvements have been achieved in public health facility with respect to infrastructure, equipment, staffing, and the overall quality of service delivery. I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
The Honourable Member may please table the questions. I now recognize Honourable Kambala. Okay, I recognize Honourable Mwashindange.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and welcome back after yesterday. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 11th of September 2025, I shall ask the Prime Minister, Dr. Elijah Ngurale, the following. Honourable Prime Minister, in recent media reports, it has come to light that more than 3,000 individuals whose vehicles were leased during the 2024 Presidential and National Assembly elections since the general voters registration are still awaiting full payment, 15 months, which is a year and 3 months later after rendering the service. The delay was apparently attributed to administrative bottlenecks, including vendor registration and getting ministerial approval, and many others. Despite an agreed settlement window of 30 days after the completion of work, vehicle owners still had not been paid anything by the 15th of January 2025, and many owners are not paid in full to date. Vehicle owners were not only left unpaid fully, but also faced immediate out-of-pocket expenses on fuel costs, hiring drivers, renting canopies, as vehicles were required to have them, and also borrowing funds to meet these obligations. Citizens contributing to a national process such as elections, only to be left unpaid, feel betrayed by government institutions. This undermines their trust in the ECN, which already cannot be trusted, and can make them less inclined to support or participate in future electoral processes. Uncompensated vehicle owners face disrupted cash flows and risk of debt from borrowed expenses. This acute hardship has ripple effect on households already navigating poverty. When community members feel exploited and taken for granted, they will be less willing to assist in civic functions again. This reluctance could make it harder for the ECN to secure necessary logistics in the future elections. The delay in paying owners will make owners refuse to release their vehicles or stop cooperating, challenging the incompetent ECN's ability to efficiently manage voters' registration and polling logistics, especially in rural, hard-to-reach areas where vehicles are very critical. In light of the above, I now ask the Prime Minister the following questions. Are you aware of this mess at the ECN? Can the Honourable Prime Minister provide a detailed report on how many private vehicle owners have not yet been compensated fully to date, and what is the current total of the outstanding amount? What specific administrative or procedural shortcomings led to the delayed payments, particularly regarding vendor registration and finance system integrations? What measures has ECN taken to expedite future payments and avoid reoccurrence of these delays? What assessment has been made of the financial impact on vehicle owners, especially those who hire drivers or bore fuel and canopy hire costs in anticipation of prompt payment? What progress has been made for ECN vehicles as outlined in the 2025-2026 budget? Has the ECN considered establishing standardized contractual terms such as prepayment and performance bonds for future rentals? And last, what oversight mechanisms are being introduced to guarantee accountability and prevent delays in the service of election-related procurements and compensations? I so submit, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member may now table the questions, please. I now recognize Honourable Shitana.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I rise on Rule 92, point of order, to seek a clarification. Point of privilege.
Rule 92.
Rule 92 is clear.
Point of order.
So, just to seek clarification.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Honourable Speakers, I have picked up a continuation of Chief Whips. I have picked up a continuation of some instances that are not well sitting with me as a member, and this is the issue of, if we are to go on page 77, 136, on the ministerial statements. It is very clear that when the ministerial statement is made,
Okay, Honorable Member,
Yes.
can you please not allow us to go through the questions?
Okay.
And then maybe after that you can raise your query, if it doesn't relate to the questions that are being posed now.
to the question, what? Come again?
Because I thought your question
Yeah.
was seeking clarity in regard to the matter that is under discussion now, which is the questions that members are posing. But if it has to do with ministerial statements, can we not go through the notices of questions and maybe after that you can then rise on a point
Okay.
of order? Okay. Then I recognize Honorable Amkoto.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yeah, and welcome. And you have the authority today. Yeah. I hereby give a notice that on Thursday, 11 September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Honorable Sangwasa, Jamie Sangwasa, the following questions. Honorable Speaker, housing and land remain some of Namibia's greatest challenge. Across the country, more than 900,000 of our people live in sheds, and the housing backlog is estimated at over 300,000 units. In this condition, many families live without reliable access to clean water, electricity, and sanitation. This situation is not only about infrastructure, but also about dignity, health, and hope. Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa announced that the government would build 50,000 houses by 2029 and formalize 50% of informal settlement. The plan also promised to service 10,000 plots annually and improve access to basic services for 100,000 people. These are ambitious and important commitments. However, history teaches us to be cautious. In 2013, the mass housing program promised 148,000 homes, yet less than 5,000 were delivered. Similar, the National Housing Enterprises, NHE, has built only about 18,000 houses in 31 years. While we welcome new target, Namibia wants assurance that these promises will not become statistic of under-delivery. I therefore ask the following question. Honorable Minister, since the President announced the housing plan, how many houses have been delivered to date, and in which region?
Zero.
And what is your clear strategy to ensure that 50,000 housing target by 2029 is fully achieved? Unlike the 2013 mass housing program that left short. Number two, how many informal settlements have been formalized so far, and what progress has been made in bringing essential services such as water, sanitation, and electricity to these areas? Again, there was a promise made that there would be improved services for 100,000 people. Can you confirm how many Namibia have so far gained access to clean water, sanitation, electricity through your ministry program?
Zero.
What step has your ministry taken to ensure fair and transparent land allocation, especially when many citizens believe politically connected individuals receive plots faster? Will you commit to make lists of available plots and successful allocation public? Honorable Minister, the ministry reported in 2025 that only 1,772 plots were fully serviced so far. With such low delivery against such huge backlog, how will your ministry scale up resources, partnership, and the budget to meet the annual target of 10,000 services plot? The NAG has only built about 18,000 houses in more than 30 years. Does your ministry still see NHE as the main vehicle for housing delivery? Or will you introduce an alternative fast and cheaper housing model, such as community rate project or low-cost technologies? Honorable Minister, recent rains and floods have devastated informal settlement. Just this past season, Windhoek informal area were flooded, with the street blocked and homes swept away. Similar, Katima Muliro settlement were flooded, making movement impossible and risking safety for parents and children. What plan are you going to follow in order to design affordable, climate-resilient housing and settlement that can withstand floods, drought, and heat? The housing crisis touches every Namibian family. It is not about politics. It is about giving our people a place to call home with clean water, electricity, and dignity. It is priority to ensure that promises made to our citizens are followed by action and not the ground. I so submit.
Not just in the
The honourable member may please table the questions. Now, Honourable Kambala, I think, indicated his question is oral. I see that Honourable Swartboy and Honourable Lukato are asking for the floor. Are your questions oral also, or are they written? They are written. Okay, so now I recognize Honourable Swartboy.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the floor. I give notice that on 11 September instant, I shall ask the Minister of Justice, Honourable Philemon Wise Emmanuel, the following: that the conditions of services of justices of the High Court and the Supreme Court in the Republic of Namibia are at an unsatisfactory level. Judges are overworked, judgments take long to be delivered, matters before court take even longer to deliver. Since last year, vacancies for 7 judges of the High Court are being advertised over and over again, as 7 judges reached retirement age. Again, only 1 candidate may have been found to be appropriate to take up one of the 7 vacancies. There seems to be, therefore, a complacency and a nonchalance about the impending crisis, which many within the judicial sector state that within the next 5 to 10 years, there may be a collapse of the High Court's capacity, in particular to deliver services for the people of this country. Acting judges themselves for 3 to 6 months on acting assignments often leave the acting assignment with 10 to 15 judgments still outstanding. The salary and wages of judges generally is appalling compared to the rest of the SADC region, and each judge only has 1 research assistant, which themselves are often overworked. I therefore ask the Honourable Minister, have you been briefed about the tremendous work pressure under which these officials must deliver judgments and ensure that the scales of justice balance at all times? If so, what are the remedial actions proposed in such briefings or research, and what budget requirements are needed to redress the poor salaries and working conditions of judges? Except for advertising locally for filling the positions of vacancies, as the Office of the Judiciary, together with the Ministry of Justice, perhaps undertaken any alternative and viable steps to urgently fill those vacancies and to ensure public confidence continues to thrive? And what action is in place to recruit and develop new youthful justices, especially from the private sector, with a long-term view to develop a set of dependable Namibians that will serve society in that sector without us experiencing shortages in the court system in future, while simultaneously creating an undeniably attractive service package for such recruits. I shall submit, Honourable Speaker, just one more question. I will also pose a question on the 11th of September instant to the Honourable Emmanuel Wise in the following fashion. The Criminal Procedure Act of 1977 as amended provides in section 2, subsection 1 that, and I quote, the authority to institute and to conduct a prosecution in respect of any offense in relation to which any lower or superior court in the Republic exercises jurisdiction shall vest in the state, end of quote. This is, Honourable Minister, a powerful provision in our law and should therefore be exercised reasonably and judiciously. Notice, Honourable Speaker, that the law does not provide for the state to persecute, but to prosecute. Moreover, it is the duty of the prosecution to see if there is a reasonable and probable cause for prosecution, as held by Lord Atkin in a 1938 case in the appellate division in the matter of Herminam versus Smith. This is an old case. These are the ground rules, that there must be a reasonable prosecution. This is sacred in our system. Breaching these basic elements in our criminal justice system breaks the trust in the eyes of society and undermines the In the recent matter of State versus Albert Mcengari, Namibia saw the fundamental reversal of the basic premises and tenets of our legal system, where allegations were made wildly and some police officials joined the media in a brutal dehumanization of a person over and above the accusations themselves. And the question arises, has our political system deteriorated and degenerated into a weaponization of the criminal justice system itself, where the criminal justice system serves and becomes a temporary actor in the permanent political takedown of another contender? In effect, the criminal justice system appears to have been turned into a decisive force that selects who participates in the executive and other arms of state and who gets imprisoned for volunteering to serve in society. Hengari, therefore, was not prosecuted. Hengari was persecuted. And that can't be right, nor can it be acceptable. Recently, our councillors in Karasburg were also in court, again being persecuted for an alleged crime they never committed, but for the second time and for political reasons. I henceforth thus pose the following questions to the Honourable Minister. Have you taken a critical look at the conduct of the Prosecutor General and her office as the central pillar of prosecutions in this country, and whether the operations and the eventual decision to prosecute Namibians is taken within the legal framework of the powers granted to this office? 2, have the functions of the prosecutors who hold the prosecutorial authority in terms of the law been overtaken and overwritten by the police? As highlighted before, the prosecution must find whether there is a reasonable and probable case for any accused person to answer before court. And 3, have you had a sit down with the PG to understand the rationale for prosecution decisions that involve political office bearers with a view to ascertain that political considerations do not affect and influence legal decisions? If not, do you plan to have any such engagement in order to understand and give assurances to society that the criminal justice system is a fair, judicious and balanced terrain? If these assurances and associated remedial actions are not given or taken by the PG's office herself, there is a likelihood of spikes in litigation and counter-litigation involving purely political considerations in political affairs, which is likely to further dismantle the criminal justice system. And finally, will the PG's office take any disciplinary action against prosecutors that are proceeding with cases where the standard of reasonableness and probability of success of any prosecution will succeed, and where the allegations are not met by reasonableness and by a prima facie case, which amounts to a representation of an abuse of discretionary authority for political reasons by these officials? I so support.
Thank you. The honourable member may now take the questions. Now, I recognize Honorable Lucato.
Honorable Speaker, I think my question is oral question.
Okay, can you
Yes.
please just
Okay.
wait for a
Oh.
moment? I now recognize Honorable Echo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. You are getting better with the pronunciation.
Thank you.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 11 September 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Honorable Sankwasa James Sankwasa, the following. Local authorities are facing significant challenges in revenue generation, largely due to persistent and escalating debt levels of parastatals. The long-standing accumulation of debt, some of which spans several decades, inhibits local authorities from realizing their full revenue potential for efficient service delivery. Additionally, the deteriorating and aging state of water infrastructure, as well as electrical infrastructure, imposes substantial revenue losses. The failure of local authorities to generate revenue from existing revenue streams and inability to further diversify revenue generation exacerbates financial strain on local authorities. Moreover, service providers such as telecommunications companies do not pay local authorities for the use of land where infrastructures lie. The consequent rise in utility costs further exacerbates the situation, ultimately leading to decline in the quality of efficient service delivery to the residents within these jurisdictions. I therefore ask the following questions. Has the Minister made a detailed and comprehensive assessment of the state of network infrastructure, particularly water network infrastructure, electrical infrastructure, stormwater infrastructure, as well as sewer reticulation infrastructure for all local authorities in the country? If so, what are the findings and what are the recommendations? Has the Minister assessed the impact of aged infrastructure and deteriorating infrastructure in relation to network losses and revenue losses? If so, what were the findings? From a revenue enhancement perspective, what local economic development policies and regulatory interventions will the Minister implement to advance in coordination with the Minister of ICT and other relevant agencies to compel telecommunications companies and other large land users to compensate municipalities for the use of land and infrastructure and enter into transparent revenue sharing or rebate arrangements that meaningfully benefit local authorities within those jurisdictions? What concrete policy measures, pilot projects and funding initiatives does the Minister propose to diversify income streams for local authorities, including but not limited to local economic development programs, property valuation reforms, targeted tariffs, municipal enterprise development, and the adoption of smart metering, leak detection technology, and other digital solutions for revenue management, such as the solutions proposed and implemented by the Keetmanshoop municipality under the governance of the Landless People's Movement? And how will the Minister and how will the Ministry support municipalities with technical assistance and seed funding to implement these measures at a larger scale? I so submit.
Thank you. The Honourable Member may please table the questions. I now recognize Honourable Kambala to pose his oral question.
All right. Good afternoon, Speaker, and afternoon, members. My question goes to the Ministry of Sports. Earlier this year, Deputy Minister Dino Balotti had gone around visiting two stadiums, three stadiums, particularly the one in Prince Arena and Commonwealth Stadium. And among those visits, the governor of Commonwealth was around. And in those discussions, he had made commitment that the ministry will work tirelessly to ensure that these stadiums where the communities of Ahimba people, I think, and some Hombas people are staying from Asdal, are currently residing on those premises, to ensure that these places become return to their old activities, which is now football and exercising venues for young people. Now, our young learners are coming out of school now. We're headed to school breaks soon, and these communities are still living on those premises. And the other issue is that now, one of my colleagues on Monday, we did a visit to the venues, and it seems that now on the premises there are now canteens. The Shabins are now also operating on those premises. Now, ours is just to understand in terms of, since those visits were done, how far has the ministry gone to ensure that at least part of the stadiums that were visited are renovated, or something happens to them so that young people take them over to as recreational facilities? Number two, the stadiums are now depleted. Like, for instance, the one in Police Arena, the boundary wall is now almost non-existent. So just want to understand, if this is a report perhaps that the ministry has just to update the house and the community in terms of what's happening, if there's any bottlenecks, what are they, how do we as a community, how do we as a state, as parliament also assist ensuring that these stadiums become the old glory. And also because they've also been identified as part of the 121 stadiums as well. So for us just to understand in terms of how far are we to ensuring that they are back to where they were in the first place. Two is to understand if there are any bottlenecks, what are they, and how do we assist to make sure that these things are addressed, Minister. Yeah, and also the issue of safety as well. Because now these communities are also, I'm finishing, Speaker. Yes. Yes, I'm finishing. I'm finishing, yes. There's also of safety, because remember, there's those, how do you call it, the pavilion. It's Amramtov. Oh, whoa, yo. The pavilion. Pavilion is a pavilion in Afrikaans. Yes. Yes. Yeah, so it's, in some instances it's about to fall, that they're correcting, and there's also kids, the community kids are also on those premises. So just to find out how to ensure their safety as well. So I'm just wanting to hear that update, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Honorable Minister, would you like to respond?
I'd like to say that this is really not an urgent question, and I cannot speak for Honorable Balotti. It was an urgent oral question, isn't it? No. For me, it's not an urgent question. First and foremost, Honorable Balotti is not here to respond on what he has allegedly said. Secondly, the issue of the stadiums being at the moment occupied is not an issue that the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture can handle by itself. It's a concern for various stakeholders. So that, just to answer. Thirdly, on the issue of the stadiums, yes, we did not start with any construction yet. There are ongoing constructions elsewhere in the country, but we can provide you with an updated report. But just to say, Honourable Speaker, with all due respect, it's not an urgent issue, and we will then rather come back with a report for you on the infrastructure development. And if you could kindly put it in writing, because you were also going back and forth, about what it is that you really want to have addressed. First you started with Honourable Balotti, now you end up with a report.
Yes, okay, thank you. Honourable, yes. Do you have a follow-up question, or are you going to bring the written question? Okay.
Speaker, I think, you see, this is the issue that you always have. I said that the ministry, your ministry, yes, the deputy minister was the one doing it, but he did not say I. He said the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports and Agriculture is spearheading this process. Now, mine was just simple to say, okay, what is it that the ministry is doing in that particular process? We understand, and I even said that the minister did not go there alone, but also with the governor. So, in our assumption, it will help that he went back to his principal and reported back to you and said, this is what we have done, minister. So if it because it's like I said, these kids are at school now. They are going to those communities back into those spaces where there's also bins on those premises. So I'm asking, what is the ministry doing in that sense?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Honorable Kambara. I think the minister said that she's going to bring the information. Isn't that so? That the member should, you, Honorable Member, should put your question in writing to the minister, so the minister would provide an answer. Okay, now I recognize Honorable Lukato.
Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, leaders of all political parties, thank you for the floor. I'm having two questions to my relative sister, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Inge. Yes. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. The first one, let me commend you, Honorable Minister, that your office is open. Thank you so much. So I didn't have time to make a turn, to knock to your office. So allow me, please, to put this question to you. The first question is that Queensland Village, which is situated in Kongora constituency in Zambezi region, it has a water point. That water point, first it was having one tank to provide to the community of Queensland. Tanks. So now, before the two tanks, it was first tank, then your ministry have already approved that the solar panels, which are worn out, should be replaced, and the budget was already allocated. So now, the Queensland communities and also the animals are affected because water are limited. So there's no water, only little water, which can not cover those community and animals. So for your information, it was also approved during the term of my relative brother, the Honorable Prime Minister. Is aware of it. Please, Honorable Minister, can you all take note of it so that as a matter of the urgency to address this issue? Because water is life. The last question, it was also, I received the consent in 14 regions. My office received consent that your ministry, they are having a challenge of vehicles in order to respond to the people's concern when they open job cards to go and fix. They say that there's no vehicles. And also, they say that there's no budget allocated in order to respond to the concerns. Because water is life and people are affected. So for your information, if you are not aware of it, Honorable Minister, those are my two appeal questions, and also in order to address it as a matter of an urgency. Thank you very much, Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister, would you like to respond?
Thank you very much, my in-law. Your questions are well noted regarding the water situation near Kongola, as well as the lack of vehicles. If you had asked me this question before, when I was in Zambezi region, a week ago, maybe I would have gone and done something about it. But let me now go back and inquire as far as the water is concerned, and to acknowledge that the water situation is a problem across the country, and we recognize and acknowledge the challenges, and we are doing everything we can to try and reach as many people as we can. We have lots of projects to try and deliver rural water to our communities, and we hope in due time, with the limited financial resources available, we'll be able to reach everyone. In fact, our target is to make sure that we reduce the distance to water for many communities during this current period of NDP. So we are working on it step by step. As far as the vehicles are concerned, in our office in Zambezi region, I was made aware of that, and we will look at how we can try to address that challenge so that our officials can reach out to the communities and respond to the inquiries in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Kandorodu.
Thank you so much, Speaker. Oral direct question to Honorable Steenkamp, Minister of Education. It's a bread and butter question. I have been receiving numerous complaints and unhappiness from your staff members of your different hostels departments. More especially Maheke region. For the past 5 years, they haven't been paid their overtime. Their claims have been taken by their supervisor, who is hostel superintendent, and up until now, they haven't been paid. So everywhere where you are going, at the funeral, weddings, same complaints from your hostel staff. Tomorrow I will be attending an event in Oshitua at Oshitua Primary School for their anniversary, and I'm sure I'll get the same complaint from them. So it will be very wise, as a former ED who know all the administrative process, and now you are the cherry on the cake of the ministry, maybe to enlighten the nation. Where do the ministries stand in terms of paying overtimes to these low-income earners or blue-collar workers that are getting their day start from 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock to serve breakfast for our kids. Like some of us here, more especially that side, when the SNT delay, So I think it's very good to look after those people. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, does the Honorable Minister wish to respond?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Member. I think you are definitely right when you say it's a bread and butter issue. And therefore the ministry attached great importance to follow up on grievances. But we must understand one thing. If you give me the names of the schools, if you just say Omaheke region is the region with the most community hostels and a lot of government hostels. So if you can give me, even bilaterally, more information which hostels, I'll be most grateful. However, 5 years for somebody not to receive overtime. It's unlikely and it's uncalled for if that is the case. So let me go back and determine the status and then revert to you. But seeing that it's an urgent question and it talks about Omaheke and 5 years in overtime, you will agree with me that I will have to go and really investigate what is the situation and why, because it's highly, highly unlikely. But it's something that must then be corrected if that is indeed the case. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Member, would you share some details with the Minister to enable her to follow up? Very good. Thank you. Now I recognize Honorable Kumbwa.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I rise to put the oral question to the Honorable Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Franz Kapofi. So this question was reserved yesterday because the Honorable Minister was not here. And I'm lucky that the Honorable Minister is here today. So on the 23rd of December, 2016, the Public Service Management Circular number 23 of 2016 was released regarding the implementation of the remoteness and hardship allowance effective from 1 April 2015 for support staff in the army bases and certain stations. In line with the circular, 4 stations were identified to qualify for such allowances according to categories A to C. 2 categories were Kongola and Okangwati Falls, supposed to receive 1,750 per month annually, and Bagani, that falls under category B, supposed to receive 1,150 Namibian dollars per month annually, and under category C is only one, that is Osivelo Station, supposed to receive 750. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, by policy, this allowance supposed to appear on the beneficiary's payslip on a monthly basis, which is not the case presently. This negatively affects their livelihood and general well-being. Secondly, the support staff in your army base haven't received clothing or PPE since 2021 up to date. Now, it is an operational situation which I agree that the minister is supposed to know, because it is a day-to-day activity and day-to-day monitoring. Are the minister aware of the situation, and how does the office of the minister intend to conclude and address this matter? I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you very much. I just would like to remind the honorable members again, we have 20 minutes for oral questions. Every question cannot be more than 3 minutes. And please, where questions require details to respond, it is best that they are posted in writing with a proper notice granted. Otherwise, we will not do justice to the issues. But I will leave it to Honorable Kapofi to indicate whether he would like to take that question.
Thank you, Comrade Speaker. Welcome back from the long recess. I suppose the honourable member had the chance to visit these bases and he collected some of this information. Very informative information. as you know, 2016 I was not there. I was somewhere else. I have, when you were talking about support staff, I was imagining who are they? What would be these support staff? I had in mind maybe these are civilian working in bases. I was just imagining because I have no idea. But certainly if there are those anomalies, these are anomalies that should be addressed because it's a question of, it's an entitlement that accrued to a member or a staff member. As I said, I have no idea. I suppose you will agree with me and allow me the benefit of the doubt or give me the benefit of the doubt. Go and check. And if you wish, I can come back to you, but definitely, and you also talked about protective clothes and all the others. It's just fair for me to request you to give me that opportunity to go and find out because I did not know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, please bring your question in writing. And the House now rises for a break of until 16 hours, 20 minutes.
This is NBC One. It's ours.
The Ministry of International Relations and Trade, in conjunction with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, is undertaking regional engagements with the Namibian business community designed to facilitate Namibia's integration into the continental trade framework under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Follow NBC on all its platforms as we bring you these updates from Karas, Omaheke, Kavango East and West regions, as well as in the Zambezi region, as from the 3rd to the 8th of September 2025. NBC, it's ours.
The 8th Parliament of the National Assembly is set with one.
Rule 230, we are now representing the whole of Namibia once we are here.
96 elected members and 8 appointed by the President will debate policies, propose legislation, and work towards the nation's progress for the next 5 years.
The issue of policy instability. There is the urgent issue of the National Youth Council.
Why are colonial laws, habit-in instruments such as 1896 red line still dominant?
They need inclusion, not tokenism.
Is the ministry going to deploy to ensure child safety, particularly in school environments and public spaces?
That is how seriously government took this issue. That we convened as a government and we said, what can we do?
Namibia is at war, not a foreign war, but one within our homes and communities.
The commitment is there and we continue to endeavor that public service does not stop and that people are able to access government services at all times.
We have moved at a supersonic speed to implement impactful programs that improve the livelihoods of our people.
The National Assembly sits every week from Tuesday to Thursday at 2:30 in the afternoon. Follow the sessions and catch the week's highlights on Inside the Chambers program every Sunday at 4 p.m. NBC, it's ours.
Lizette Ferris, founder of Victim to Survivor, has stood at the forefront of the fight against abuse. She has walked beside survivors of domestic violence, offering them strength, guidance, and the belief that healing is possible.
As a survivor of gender-based violence, at first it took me a very long time to be open about it, to even admit it to myself, I think. And after a lot of therapy, I realized that there's a need for women like me to speak out about it. And I felt strong enough to do so. So when I first spoke about it in smaller circles is when Hematsi approached me and also wanted to do something around GBV, and we co-founded Victims to Survivors in 2011.
Not just a survivor, she is a warrior, a mentor, and a guide who has worked tirelessly behind the scenes.
We always did community-based work. We've kept and maintained that. We offer referral services, for example, as well. So if someone has a case where the child, for example, was abused, it's not something that we are equipped to deal with, but we can refer them. So we have networks, we have experts that we have access to that the ordinary citizen might not have, that we can reach out to and refer that case and follow up on that case afterwards as well. Focus not completely away from V2S, but also including young people, including children, and starting these discussions about equality, about rights, right? We have human rights, we have women's rights, we have children's rights.
As a strong believer in gender equality and human rights, she took a journey towards eradicating and preventing abuse through changing mindsets by sowing the seeds of dignity, respect, and hope in the younger generation. By offering youth mentorship and early education, her goal is to help young people find their voices.
My name is Rachel Ngimulitete. So I met Lizette Fierez in 2014, So I met her at the Media Institute of Southern Africa. I believe she worked there at the time, and so basically we're having like a focus group discussion on how young people can use social media. And so she was one of the people that were training us. And yeah, I've also worked with her in the Media and Information Literacy Learning Initiative, MILI. Things that stood out when it comes to Lizette is that she's very passionate about young people and solving social issues, and especially those that have to do with young people. And I think with her influence, I was able to learn those skills, such as using the media, fighting for children's rights, and also learning what are my rights as a person, because you can only empower others once you're empowered yourself. As a young person, learning about GBB from a young age because of the campaigns and the work that she did really helped me to grasp just how serious of an issue it is. But also over the years, I've learned also how to protect myself against such situations, how to help others. If I see someone getting abused, what can I do? So I've really been empowered through her work.
You might not see it now, but it will come to an end. You just need to be strong, and you need to fight your way through. No one else will do it for you. You have to be your own hero. Do what you can with what you have, where you're at. You deserve a better life. We all do.
She is an unsung hero and a beacon of hope, lighting the way for generations to come.
The Hope for Life Resource Center was founded in December 2003 with a simple mission: to support and uplift people across Namibia. Through the Hope for Life Foundation, they run life-changing projects and work with partners to make an even greater impact.
Edina Jajonga e Maria Kambuta undaza ko Shifukwa moshitopolwa sha Shikoto 2020 okwaindira metegelero maka ko indishino kucha andi ikwathele ngini onkene opuna omwena wa mime wanje gumwe itandi mpopine Kevina apenjo nambanjo yotamono kucha kadona wanje ouli metegelero onduvu nokucha ehangano ndino ali kwathele omeme mbo eli momategelero oyakadhengela nje neetapula nje nokucha ouli peni andi alombolele nokucha andizi peni talombole nje nokucha pongapi atusakanene o system ilinge inokucha tango ayeya kungwe tatalampo wazi tae kupuloma pulo kontumba shane kupuloma pulo kontumba yotakagaruka nenale opo ndilipo ondeetelwa oshako ifike mpa yikutu yunima yumeme kehe shimwe ongo nsimba apumbwa kukala nasho oyesheetelanje okwaindanyanyukwa nayi oyiyapelanje wono shimaliwa shokuya komatholo ondeinde yapandula nonkondo adhihe jatsikile nokukwathela nasugote mono kana kanje opo ndilipo moshipangelo onda SMS-ala ndiwete owili kwapitala minute 30 ngodinji yoyomba moshipangelo oyetelanje nale inima nzo ndapumbiwa yokanona kokakadhona shosho kana kakadhona omemo enji nembo elipo ntonanga nambo tulina omwe walanda okwaiyabomoka naima tatita aya kone metiari nenke metini tatala nokuchoka no takalingana nawa o kenanga ikutu inaihulapo shasho ngao tasira njo shimpuyu nokana ngae noho onange shefa ngotolanditha ngoto ikoskola ongo uneithano nokuli otaitela asenes so ndahalike kulombwela agunjuka kwetu nenke omema kwetu nokucha onkalamwenyo inopumbwa usholole nanto oshaka ondili mpano ndi pandule Hope for Life kwa shaningira nje monkalamwenyo yanje ehangano njono ali ungwangwa najo ajikwatelwa kome onkulukaza kutwa mero salinde.
At the heart of this vision is Ms. Rosalind Slabitz, the Managing Director. A trained biblical counselor with degrees in commerce and labor law, she also holds certificates in photography and life coaching and is currently pursuing a master's in apologetics and theology. Since 2016, she has touched countless lives through biblical counseling, offering guidance with faith and compassion.
I have an adopted brother and sister, and I landed up being the oldest of 7. My mom, who turns 80 this year, is a foster mom, and she's got 3 foster children that she's raising, same age as my children. So I'm parenting with my mom, which is kind of interesting, being her daughter and being a parent.
The Hope Baby House is a sanctuary for abandoned babies, a safe home where 22 little ones from birth to age 3 are nurtured with love and care. Many of these children have faced trauma, neglect, or abandonment. Here, they are given not only shelter, but the chance to heal, grow, and begin anew.
It's mainly vulnerable women and children. That's our main focus. It's on child protection. And so it's not just about seeing a mom and seeing her struggling and taking her baby away. The trauma for her and trauma for her child as well. We want to see if we can get that mom on her feet.
To date, the foundation has handled 68 child protection cases, and now a bold vision lies ahead, expanding into a larger children's center that will provide care for up to 100 children.
They can call us, even to phone us at 2 in the morning and say, I've gone into labor, and we're like, can we come and pick you up? Can we take you to the hospital? What help do you need? Just knowing we're there really makes a difference. So we're able to help moms parent. So we've had lots of success stories where moms really have had nothing. They can't necessarily get a job. We don't have enough jobs in this country, but we say, what skills do you have? Some of our moms have gone on to be school teachers, some are nurses, and it's just, I think when they know someone genuinely cares and genuinely loves them, and that we don't always have stuff to give, we really don't, but we have ourselves, and we can give support, and we can say, we know you can do it, and we help, and that makes a huge difference for some people.
Jesus loves me, yes I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones who hear me know, they are weak but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me, yes I know, yes, Jesus loves me, yes I know, yes, Jesus loves me, yes I know the Bible tells me.
They don't always make headlines, but they show up. They care. They lead by example. From every corner of society, unsung heroes walk among us, and today we honor them. NBC wishes you a heartfelt and happy Heroes Day.
The journey has been amazing, but it also has been overwhelming. The packing, the traveling from one place to another every single day. It has been quite hectic, but I loved it. I love the thrill of it all, how it keeps us on our toes. I really love that.
My favorite experience thus far that has stood out for me, honestly, was Elua Resource School, because it is so dear to my heart, because I believe that it's so important for us to empower our youth, and I think what Elua Resource School is doing is absolutely beautiful, giving a platform to those that think that they don't have a platform. So giving them a head start on their future and preparing them for the outside world, I think that's something to be admired, honestly.
Now I'm telling them that you are going to contest for Miss Namibia, and then amongst you, there'll be one that will be our Miss Namibia. They like those. Yeah. And they are so happy to see you guys.
Thank you, Elua.
And of course, I cannot forget the natural experiences we had. First of all, Etosha National Park really stood out for me, seeing all the wildlife and just appreciating nature, the power of how beautifully Namibia has been crafted. It says a lot about our country.
And then going to Etosha, honestly, seeing our wildlife is always a highlight. It makes sense why that's one of our biggest tourist attractions.
But then there were two places that really stood out to me, and significantly because of the castle. It was very beautiful, very white.
Another was the Namutoni Lodge. Though we didn't stay there for long, it was very nice because the accommodation was very pretty, nothing I've ever seen.
And all the other places, the lodges, they're so beautiful. I didn't expect them to be that beautiful, honestly. Apart from what I've been hearing, it's beautiful.
It was so amazing how they treated us and how they welcomed us. I feel like I've never experienced that sort of warm welcome.
Having dried fish as a snack instead of welcome.
I'm buying one for my mom. So first of all, I think I'd like to start off by saying truly thank you to Miss Namibia and NBC, and of course all the sponsors on board who
Greetings and welcome to your 4 o'clock news highlights here on NBC with me, Reinhilde Ausiku. Thank you for joining us. We start with news from down south, where a group of Oranienmound residents have expressed dismay at what they term as irregular low-cost housing allocation to the local council, raising concerns over transparency and fairness in the process. Community activist Metumo Imene alleged many landless families who have lived for more than 20 years at the town were overlooked in the allocation of 56 available houses. Those who benefited, he maintained, are individuals connected to the council. Imene demanded that the beneficiary selection process be redone, this time with the participation from the local housing community.
No opportunity for community members to apply for houses. According to them, according to council, they conducted a survey, and based on the survey they identified. So the questions they ask is, did the survey reach the entire community of Oranienmound? What was the survey all about?
In other news, widows lose their cattle, small livestock, and more than 40% are deprived of farming equipment after their husband's death. UN Resident Representative Hopolang Pororo remarked this at the opening of the African Widows Summit in Windhoek. The event started on Wednesday with more than 500 physical and virtual delegates from 21 African countries participating in the 3-day conference focused on championing the rights of widows across the continent. The summit, held under the theme Widowhood in Africa, Building a Sustainable Culture, brings together widows' representatives and global stakeholders to address challenges such as legal discrimination, economic hardship, poor healthcare access, inadequate housing, and education barriers. Hopolang Pororo remarked on protecting the widow with the legacy left by her husband.
These are not just private losses. They are national losses cutting across generations. But building a sustainable culture means changing the story. Namibia has taken important steps forward, including legal reforms such as the Communal Land Reform Act, which grants widows inheritance rights to communal land.
In international news, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that military attacks on alleged drug traffickers will happen again, brushing aside concerns over the legality of such attacks and the sovereignty of Latin American nations. Speaking during a news conference in Mexico City on Wednesday, Rubio pledged continued security coordination with countries like Mexico, but suggested the U.S. would not hesitate to take extreme measures on its own. Mexico is pushing back against the idea of U.S. intervention inside its borders after it emerged that President Donald Trump had directed an attack on a vessel he claimed was smuggling drugs a day earlier. Al Jazeera reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Mexico. It was a flying visit, but an important one. Although the big topic had changed overnight, from Mexico-US tension to the US military sinking a boat from Venezuela that it said was carrying drugs. The strike killed 11 people.
What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them. So they were designated as what they are narco-terrorist organizations. So the same information and the same intelligence mechanisms with maybe a higher focus was used to determine that a drug boat was headed towards eventually the United States. And instead of interdicting it on the president's orders, he blew it up. And it'll happen again. Maybe it's happening right now, I don't know. But the point is, the president of the United States is going to wage war on narco-terrorist organizations.
What evidence did the US have that the boat was carrying drugs or grounds to blow it up, reporters asked.
If you're on a boat full of cocaine or fentanyl or whatever headed to the United States, you're an immediate threat to the United States. And the president, under his authority as commander-in-chief, has a right under exigent circumstances to eliminate imminent threats to the United States. And that's what he did yesterday in international waters, and that's what he intends to do.
There have been questions whether that would stand up in a court of law, including from the president of Colombia, who said on social media it's a murder anywhere in the world. Mexico had other things on its mind. President Trump has been pushing really, for the country to allow in the US military to help it in its fight against drug cartels. The Mexican government has said no, that would violate national sovereignty. And the president herself said that they would give Marco Rubio a presentation to show all that Mexico has been doing to fight the cartels and stop drugs getting to the US. Nobody discussed the matter head-on, but there was a lot of talk about collaborating but respecting territory in the press conference afterwards, especially from Mexico.
Los gobiernos de México y Estados Unidos.
The governments of Mexico and the United States reaffirm our cooperation on security matters, which is based on the principles of reciprocation, respect for sovereignty, and territorial integrity.
Rubio said all the right things too.
It is the closest security cooperation we have ever had, maybe with any country, but certainly in the history of US-Mexico relations.
But it's not all just sweet words. The US is keen to show that in Latin America, it again carries a big stick.
And that concludes the news highlights at this hour. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to NBC for more content.
I must start looking for a bigger house for us. Oh, abang ukuthi mhlambe phezwa yonke into eyenzakalile ukuthi mhlambe usheshe washeshe ukuthi uqhubekele phambili.
So anyway, Pops.
Umthunzi akusumdala. Enenifuna ukuthi Patricia ungiqalele nyani.
Miqumo onisaqawo. Teminqwa odemiqawo. Can you get it? They may have boxes on what room and hang. Come out, you said, Zudo. Just a come get a good tomato. Yes. I'm not going to get a tomato. I don't go to go corner. Nah, who can? Why would you want home? I can't go crazy.
Your identification card, please.
Hen Aywa. Take out the code. I'm making a journey.
She won't understand.
How's it going?
I met my long lost friend. I'm talking about Sir Whiskey.
Is dead. Honorable Kamburu, may you speak excuses? Let's hear from Honorable Kamburu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the floor given. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 11th of September 2025, I will move that this House discusses the devastating fires which have destroyed nearly 460,000 hectares of land in 2025, as per media reports, and calls upon the Minister of Environment, Forest and Tourism to urgently finalize a national wildlife prevention and response strategy, establishing a national wildlife command center, roll out a community fire brigade program, and create an emergency wildlife relief fund to support affected communities. Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Member, you may please take your leave. I now call upon Honorable Kangulu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor given. Honorable Speaker, the matter I'm about to table, I have emphasized it one time in this House during the deliberation of budget. And I was very impressed by the the gesture of many of the members in this House, you find it necessary that I put it in a form of a motion. I am certain and confident that this matter will be supported by the entire House. Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Tuesday, the 9th September 2025, I shall move that this August House debate, discuss, and interrogate the need for a military hospital. Honorable Speaker, the situation we have found ourselves as a nation, having the founding presidents and the father of the Namibian nation, and indeed a decorated commander of plane, Dr. Semsa Hishuna Nyoma, as well as the third president of the Republic, Dr. Ange Genko, both perishing in a care of a private civilian medical hospital, remain a very great concern. Namibia is one of the few countries in Africa, if not in the region, without a fully fledged, specialized military hospital that include research and training centers, social workers, and rehabilitation that can be offered to both the soldiers and the veterans of the liberation struggle, and any other defeating citizen of our beloved motherland. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, this matter is therefore of utmost national interest, as it directly touches on the sovereignties, dignities, and ultimately national security. Furthermore, while there is no exact current numbers of medical graduates that remain unemployed, a survey held in 2021 indicates that only 45% of those medical graduates could secure employment. Literally, tells us our concern or challenge is not necessarily a lack of capacity or human capacities, but rather a matter of dedicating our approach towards ensuring that this hospital or military hospital become a reality. It is therefore against that background, with high regards, I to discuss, debate, and interrogate the need for establishment of this military hospital, and that this motion is therefore referred to the International Security Committee for further scrutiny. Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Thank you. Honorable member may now table the motion. Thank you. Ministerial statements. Is Minister of Education.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. With your indulgence, I have two, if permitted, if time allows. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this August House, I rise again to expand on the report that I gave yesterday about the unfortunate incident that occurred at Maria Mwengere Senior Secondary School hostel in Rundu. And that happened between the 31st of August and the 3rd of September 2025, when a number of our learners were affected by what we now think is a suspected case of food poisoning. Honorable members, globally, foodborne diseases remain a major health threat. According to the World Health Organization, nearly 600 million people, 1 in 10, fall ill each year, and 420,000 die after consuming contaminated food. Alarmingly, 40% of those affected are children under the age of 5, with at least 125,000 child deaths annually. Namibia is not immune to this threat, and in the Kavango East region alone, as mentioned yesterday, more than 100 cases and nearly 30 deaths were recorded between 2015 and 2025 due to foodborne diseases, often linked to poor hygiene practices, improper food storage, and cross-contamination. Honourable members, in the most recent case, a total of 174 learners from Maria Mwengere Senior Secondary School presented symptoms of watery diarrhea, dizziness, chest pains, severe headaches, and abdominal cramps following the consumption of hostel meal. Out of the 174 learners, 33 were hospitalized at Rundu Intermediate Hospital, while 140 learners with similar symptoms were treated at school by the health officials. As of today, all learners who were hospitalized have been discharged. It is suspected that these learners started showing symptoms few hours after consuming a nation of macaroni, boerewors, beetroot, carrots, cabbage, white soup, and oats porridge. Now, interestingly, the average age of the affected learners were 15 years, ranging between 13 and 26, according to the health report, with the majority being girls. And notably, 7 of the hospitalized learners were children with disabilities. They were deaf learners. Honourable members, I wish to reassure you and the Namibian nation that the matter has received the full and urgent attention of our ministry, working very closely with the Ministry of Health and Social Services, because upon notification of this, the Rundu Intermediate Hospital informed the acting senior medical officer of Rundu district, which triggered the involvement of the entire regional management team. A rapid response team was immediately deployed, consisting of an epidemiologist, environmental health practitioners, surveillance officers, health information officers, and nurses. So we can see it was quite a comprehensive team that visited the school and they took charge of the situation. 3 official inspection visits were carried out at the school. The first visit was carried out on the 1st of September 2025 and involved observations, the collectment of statements, and the engagement with school management and the school board. A second follow-up visit was conducted on the 3rd of September to check on the recovery progress of the learners, while on the 3rd of September, yesterday, inspectors returned once again to attend to learners who continue to experience stomach cramps and vomiting. According to the report of the preliminary investigation conducted by the health inspectors dispatched to the school, food contamination is suspected to be the vehicle of the outbreak. Honourable Speaker, at this stage, however, the exact cause of the contamination has not yet been conclusively established, and it remains under investigation. Whether in fact the food that was delivered was in an unfit condition by the contractor provided company, or whether the problem was due to improper storage and refrigeration at the hostel. Both possibilities are being thoroughly investigated by the relevant authorities, and conclusive findings will be reported once available. Honourable members, as a ministry, we take this incident with the seriousness, we treat this incident with the seriousness it deserves, and we are committed to ensuring that such an event does not recur in any of our schools. We cannot guarantee that, but we will do everything within our power. As every effort is being made to ensure that the affected learners, in this case in Kavango East, continue to receive prompt medical attention, while preventative measures are reinforced to avoid such incidents. We are determined to strengthen the food safety measures across all our hostel schools, and I would also like to inform the honourable members of this August House that as a precautionary measure, the ministry has released the learners a day earlier. Friday was supposed to be out weekend. We've released them already today instead of the scheduled departure from the hostel tomorrow, prior to the midterm break. That is what I wish to submit. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Let me maybe hear if there are members that would like to ask questions in regard to that statement, and then you make the next one. Are there any questions? Honourable Shitana?
Honorable Speakers, mine was on the previous program that I was supposed to say something and I was told to say something now.
Okay.
So I have nothing for now to comment on that. I want to use this one to my time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's just a very straightforward question that it's quite very strange that most of the ministerial statements, I noted that some of them, especially when it's knocking off time, a minister can give a very good statement that is more important to the nation. But the members, most of the time, are not given time to take part in that. And the question is, how do we deal with that when we miss that opportunity to say something on that very important statement? So it is very worrisome because we sleep here during the budget approving the money. And when it goes in that hands, so we are limited to say something on that. So that is one. Secondly, Speaker, I myself, I do respect you very much. And the issue here is running away from the problem in the house is not a solution. We are talking about women empowerment. We are talking fetus female. Stand on your ground, fix the problem. Please, please, I'm appealing, please. You started. It was not urgent. Am I protected? Speaker, am I protected? I must give my point. No.
You are not the speaker.
Yes, point of order, Honorable Shitana.
I'm not done. I'm not done. Point of order. Point of order. Thank you.
It's a point of order. He will continue. He will continue.
Madam Speaker. The other one is
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I don't know whether this is. I don't know whether this is.
No, you was also not talking on that.
92 imps. Speaker, I do not know whether this is an agenda to make it seem as if the Speaker is not control on the House he is responsible for, or whether people are intentionally kicking up fracas to create a picture as if we do not understand our purpose and reason of being in this House. I'd like to submit to my point of correction. I'd like to submit to my brother so that he should use a more parliamentarian language and withdraw the word run away and instead use a word that could reflect the situation. Because all of us can use different words to make this difficult. So you can say the Speaker adjourned the House because of your conduct. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now, Honorable Shitana may continue, please.
Honorable Speakers, I made it very clear that maybe the brother they took it otherwise. When in the opening prayer in this house, it says to find solution to problem. It doesn't say to run away. I submit.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Shitana. Yes, Honorable Amtenya.
Now, Speaker.
Speaker is smiling.
Now, Speaker.
She's not taking them serious.
Honorable Shitana indicated that. The ministerial statement. Since I've never observed in this House that after a ministerial statement, an opportunity is not given to members of this House to ask or contribute to the ministerial statement. Therefore, I do not understand why Honorable feels that we do not get that time, and there's no way we're going to say, or the rule does not say, the next day you should be able to come back again to question the ministerial statement that was given. That is, in actual sense, House, now the ministerial statement is given the way it's given now. The next thing given is for us to give contributions or ask questions to the ministerial statement. That has been what has been happening here. So, Speaker, I really do not understand what Honorable is talking about.
Very good. Thank you very much. Honorable members, can we now come to the ministerial statement, please? Yes, I see there is a list of honorable members, I believe, wanting to comment. The first one is the Honorable Aupindi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I thank the Minister for the statement. It's profound, and we want to send out our well wishes to the learners who are affected by this almost tragic event. But we also appreciate the fact that a catastrophe was averted. But if you look at 174 learners suspected food poisoning, particularly when it comes to, and it's true the Honorable Minister had said that he went through the statistics of food poisoning around the world and in Namibia in particular. But there seems to be a special case going on there in Kavango, both Kavango East and West.
Repetitively.
And in particular in your school and in the community. Perhaps the government needs to think big here and look at it on a larger scale than just the school. But coming back to your statement, I feel that having some of the schools, there is a need to innovate and then perhaps standardize your catering services within the entire school system. Because as you go through those schools, some of them have kitchen as a shack. Myself and the Honorable Nashinga were in Omaheke and the Honorable Ngombe. We were in Omaheke and we saw once where I think part of social corporate responsibility, an investor had put up a proper kitchen from just a shack. Some of them are using, some of them are using gas. So in terms of the handling of food, right from the producers, from the retailers, into the school care, there is absolutely, I think there's a need to come up with a more standardized approach, a more hospitality the school management system is going to handle your food. Otherwise, you are going to find yourself having a lot of toxic issues that are picked up throughout that whole process, because food is very sensitive, and a small thing can actually become a catastrophe. So, but we thank your intervention, and we look forward, I think, to a much more elaborate statement, perhaps after the entire thing is resolved, because they could still be, and I'm sure with the team that's going on there will be some finding from a toxicology team as to what type of bacteria is that, what type of toxicity is that, and therefore flush it out. But the long-term strategy is for you to standardize your entire catering system into a proper hospitality strategy that is managing your your school food management system. But I thank you very much for the statement.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Svartoy.
Speaking after a man who was running food matters at NWR has spoken, Honorable Toby Albin. But I concur with him 100%. I just want to add by first also thanking the Minister. She really tries to be as detailed as possible in her responses. I've seen that. I commend her for that at all times. I want to find out, Honorable Speaker, who is doing the investigations that she spoke about? Is it an independent investigation, or is it the ministry doing it, the food company? Who is doing the investigations? What are the parameters of the investigation? Because she says they are going to do everything in their power to make sure this does not happen again. What does that mean? How is the authentication of the expiry dates of food checked? Because sometimes, even in big retail shops, you have to actually check, products that you buy, because the expiry date is maybe 2-3 days away. When you load off, and this is what Honorable Opindi speaks of, say a month's supply, who checks whether some of the food has already not expired, perhaps? I have not seen whether the minister's statement is based on evidence, in the sense that she perhaps maybe omitted to say, but were there blood tests done to authenticate that all these children were really poisoned, whether everyone was affected by food poisoning? What type of medical care was given to correctly identify that indeed it was food poisoning, maybe not something else? And the preparation of food aspect, how is it done? Because when I listen to carrots and boerewors, and it's actually good meals that Ims and I did not have at the University of Namibia. But how does this food become so poisonous? Except maybe if it's expired and so on. But the company that provides the services, is it the same company that has gotten it over and over and again, and therefore maybe they have gotten used to, the supply and the friendships? I know that when people get the same company, gets the same tender over and over, people become friends, they start to cut costs, I'm even wondering whether the boerewors was actually boerewors. Maybe it was crocodile wors or something, I'm just saying.
Kangaroo.
Yeah. What is the ministry's ultimate point? What would have happened if 174 kids would have died? Because I don't hear of the service provider services being suspended, pending the outcome of an investigation. We don't hear the investigation upon staff members that were doing the preparation maybe being shifted, and other kitchen staff maybe brought in place. We don't hear, but maybe the minister doesn't want to go into great detail, whereas we expect detail. Many of us have kids at these rural schools, and often, especially the boys, we have to supplement lots and lots of food for the boys, because the food is just not sufficient for the boys in rural government schools. So we have to, every month, buy massive quantities of food, actually, and over and above what government gives. And you sometimes just wonder, how is the quantity really of food rations being done? So, Honorable Minister, the time frame that you have put in place for this investigation that you are doing, when will we get feedback? Because we didn't hear of a time frame. When the investigation that you're talking about will be completed, who does the investigation, what steps are likely to be taken if it is found, both from the side of the provider of services or from the kitchen staff, what will be done? It really requires some greater look into this whole matter. It seems not as if it's a crisis, Honorable Speaker, but if 174 kids would have died, maybe we would have responded very differently, and we don't want to see that eventuality. But good luck with the investigations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I recognize Honorable Hushono.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for recognizing me. Good afternoon once again. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the report. It's much better than that of yesterday. Honorable Speaker, when we come to this August House, we have taken an oath to tell the truth, nothing else but the truth, and help me God. Honorable Speaker, the number that was mentioned yesterday was 33 learners. But today, those who got sick rose up to 174. And then the report yesterday said leftovers. Focus was on leftovers. And I was wondering, how much is left over that will be consumed by 33 lands? But finally, it's not leftovers. So we rule leftover out. So now we focus on the real issue. Now, Minister, today you are saying unfit condition, storage, preparation and stuff. And I am still going to bring you back to who are these caterers and quality of the food. I like the question that is put by Honorable Swartboy. We want to hear the report now of the medical tests, blood or whatever, saliva, I don't know what's part of whatever they take. Those samples are taken. It will do justice for us to know exactly what our children that are in hostel are eating, of what quality, and who are the suppliers. I do not want to rule out the carelessness, because yesterday you were really touching that the preparation and the people wear what kind of clothing when they're cooking. We must also look into that. And if some people are giving my minister incorrect information to present to Parliament, that would not be nice. 33 cannot quickly rise up to 174 and drop again to, because yesterday I said 60 something, because I know the number was big. Today is 174. It's very, very scary. Thank you so much, Speaker.
I call upon Honorable Nashinge.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you for that. I don't know how to term it. It's not proactive. It's more standard and political. I think there are times that we should really pack our political jackets outside. And then when we come here, we face each other as servants of the people of this country that have serious responsibility to take care of the affairs and all that for the people of this country. The feeding program is appreciated, but there must be a point where we take stock and ask ourselves, you and your team, what we have, is it really working? Or we need to look into it and start from afresh and fix things that are broken. At some schools, the kitchens are horrible. They look like preparing a center to prepare food for pigs. That's a fact. And you expect children not to fall ill after eating food. The other thing is that the procurement process, this tendering process, and it's for you and even the Minister of Health. Are you putting the lives of the people of this country at the center of everything? I don't think we must continue with the tendering anymore, where we give these opportunities to Tom and Dick, whose priority is profit. Your ministry, who makes sure that quality assurance is assured? How do we make sure that the food is indeed certified fit for human consumption? Where does it come from? At what cost? Is it expired? What if I just went to whatever shop and ask them to give me expired food and make sure that I charge you as much as I can so that I can walk away with a serious profit? So I think it's about time we relook into this and perhaps move away from tendering as far as food is concerned. We have capacity in the ministry. In fact, it's about time you request your colleagues and cabinet so that you get a strong team to assist you. Somebody to deal with quality assurance across the board. Somebody to deal strictly with the human capital affairs. Somebody to deal just with education in general. Then what we are doing now. You are at higher education, you are at Kalimbeza Rice, you are now dealing with the food and you are overreacting. You are overreacting because the agenda here, we must portray ourselves as the best. You are just human. Where we are wrong, we are wrong. And we are not here to shame each other, but to fix these things. So please, park politics and let us do things right. This can't be allowed. Every other time, food poisoning. Who is supplying this? Which comrade is that got that tender? Thank you very much.
Yes. Honorable Kanderodu, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the list.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. My little advice to the Ministry of Education is please requests from Public Service Commission through the Prime Minister Office to have dietitians in the regions. Ministry of Education don't have dietitians. And also partly Ministry of Health. But nevertheless, it's very important to have people that look at the health aspects of what you give to the learners. The issue of community hostel is the cause of food poisoning. Have you ever heard of poisonous plant that kills cattle? Community hostels are buying meat from the cows that have been poisoned by this plant. Oshikurioma, you don't know. You town people, you don't know these things. Ask me. I'm coming from the region. Secondly, most of the community hostels don't have refrigerators or coolers. They keep their food under the shade to cool it. All your schools don't have a backup generator when the power goes off. The Ministry of Health.
Yes, okay, there's a point of order, Honorable Kanderodu.
Honorable Speaker, for the sake of progress, I wanted my dear brother, Honorable Kanderodu, I know that you are a farmer, but I do take exception in the fact that you do not farm in areas infested by what you call Dicapitalum cymosium. That is a scientific name of what you call the hemp plant, aka Oshikurioma inocherero. Now, for the sake of information and of course for your own benefit, it is much of a poisonous plant that only affects ruminants. And it has to do with the blood circulation in the system of a ruminant animal. Upon consumption by a human being through a process of cooking, such is not poisonous to human being. It's a serious distortion of information, misconstruence of fact, and it's very dangerous. Honorable Speaker, may you also protect me when I'm on the floor because I'm behaving like a child of this house today. Honorable Speaker,
you are out of order.
Myself, let the Speaker rule the order. You have been out of order. Let the Speaker rule the order. You're not the Speaker for now. Honorable Speaker, myself, I'm farming in an area in Gamino-Shitherandu. That whole area, as you move on, from the whole ecological zone all the way, from that whole area of Shinene, Pugiro, all the way up, is hemp plant. We consume those cattle every single day. As we are talking, Madam Bakera have lost cattle last week. She went to brood the meat, and she's cooking it, she's eating it. All of us are eating that meat. Poisonous plant is never a poison whatsoever to human beings as far as meat consumption is concerned. It is very wrong at this point in time where a member of parliament stands up and gives misinformed information without any scientific proof whatsoever. So it is very important that we need to...
Thank you. Okay, so Honorable Kanderodu, thank you so much.
you are encouraging our kids to eat poisonous food. Look, let me give you a context. We are stopping meat to be transported from the red line side.
There is another point of order, unfortunately.
Why are we doing that?
Okay, Honorable James.
No. I'm giving you the context of consuming.
Honorable Kandorodu, your statement is so interesting. There is another intervention. Honorable Werikwa, you will have to wait and let the Honorable Ampanda make his intervention.
So I did not want to intervene. I wanted to hear. It is important for us to make a distinction whether we are interested in form or substance. The fundamental question that we must ask ourselves, what is the substantive matter being raised, not the form? The member is asking about the health-related concern. It's not just about the plane, he's talking about the storage, he's talking about many other things there. If we want to argue that there ought to be a scientific basis for it, then we wouldn't be hearing that there's no scientific basis whatsoever that the children ate macaroni that is contaminated. But that's what the minister said, isn't it? That is leftovers. So we must then, as members of parliament, be able to understand and listen both in form and substance. So the member is talking about the generality of the consumption.
Switch off your phone.
There is no point of order on top of a point of order. On top of it.
It's a point of order, Honorable Member. He's making a point of order.
Let me finish.
Wait for the member to...
So it's also important. So a serious matter such as this, it's not necessary for us to do gymnastics, because kids could die. I was in the Kavango when some of these issues were being raised, and some of the parents were saying, these children, yeah. So the parents were saying that my child is taken. So the parents were saying, my child is taken to the hospital, but no one is giving me the information. So my appeal, and to contextualize what the member is talking about substantive issues that relates to health and the type of food that is being consumed in that environment. He's not presenting a veterinary report on the animals that have been analyzed or whatsoever. That's the same argument that has been made. So it's important for us to understand that there are certain issues that we can play gymnastics about, but not in cases where kids are dying and they are in hospital in critical. So let's maybe talk about condonation and the rules and what, then we can do those things. But it is important. That's why I did not intend to intervene, Speaker, because I thought, are you done? So I thought that it is a very important substantive issue that we need to be able to understand, because what is going to happen really if many children die? So if we don't make a distinction between form and substance, then we really need to go back to the drawing board. If everything is...
Okay, Honorable Member. Okay, okay, Honorable Member. Can the member finish his point so that...
Yes. If... Whereas we are talking about issues of substance, it's very important. When we are talking about issues of substance, it's the same thing, the argument when the Minister of Fisheries presented the quotas here. When the Minister presented quotas here, we're saying that no, she will not be able to respond because she's got that information from a scientific basis. And on that basis...
No, Honorable Member, he's making a point of order and he should wind up. You
Yes.
wait for Honorable Kandorodu to resume the floor, and then you can make your point of order. Sit down. Yeah. No, you can't make a point of order on a point of order, Honorable Member. Yes, but the member must wind up. The point of order is
Absolutely.
also long. Yes, Honorable.
It is very important in the context of this debate for us to be thorough, for us to be very clear. What are we dealing with? We were presented with a statement on very important national matter. And the basis of a question that have been asked is that the member is simply, what I'm saying in conclusion, Speaker, the member is simply saying that, are you looking, Minister, are you looking at the comprehensive issues that are affecting the feeding scheme, the type of food that people are eating, the type of storage that people are storing their meat under the shades and not necessarily with electricity? Those are broader issues of substance. Those are not issues that we can play gymnastic about. That's really the point that I'm trying to make. The member does not need to present a veterinary report on those animals of Honorable Mbareka. In fact, the member was not conducting an assessment on your cattle, whether they are good or they are not good. The member was simply saying that the children do not get the necessary food and the safety and all those things.
Honorable members. Okay,
So,
thank you.
Honorable Kangaroo, good, well done, continue.
Okay, honorable members. Can we now allow Honorable Kandarodu? You see, honorable members, the honorable minister, honorable member, wait for Honorable Kandarodu to. No, there is no one on the floor. No, you cannot. Honorable member. Honorable members. You see, honorable members, let Honorable Kandarodu take the floor. If you would like to make a point of order, you make a point of order when he has said something. Right now, there is no one on the floor. Yeah, but you can't make a point of information when there is no one on the floor. Yes, I hear you, honorable member. I hear you, honorable member. The only thing I'm saying is that let Honorable Kandarodu get up. If you want a point of order, you ask for a point of order. Okay, now point of order, Honorable Minister of Justice. Okay, can both of you please take your seat? Can both of the honorable members please take their seats? I now give the floor to the Minister of Justice.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, at all material times, I have endeavored to conduct myself, in terms of Rule 73 of the rules, or the parliamentary rules, the standing rules that are. When I do so, Honorable Speaker, it's not that I'm not capable to behave in any manner that is contrary to Rule 90, read with Rule 103. May I request, Honorable Speaker, that you deal with our reactions and response to ministerial statement in accordance with Rule 136, Sub-Rule 2, so that we avoid, all the, gymnastics that are now happening. I think it will help everybody. It will help everybody, and it will also accord some of us our dignity that are here simply to afford respect to this august house. And when we don't act in a manner that others choose to do so, it's not that we are incapable, but we are respecting the honor accorded to this house and also the responsibility that comes with your chairmanship. I so submit. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member. I would just like to correct to say it is not only a matter of the Speaker having to rule. It's a matter of all of us having the responsibility to observe and respect the rules. It is true that there is a full prescription of how we should conduct our business in the House. And there are even time limits on supplementary questions or additional comments to be made. And I would like to implore all of us to do that. Honorable Kandorodo, please be brief in your question or commentary so that we can go through this list and the Honorable Minister will be able to respond so that we can proceed to the next item. Today's question is Thursday. Then when there is no opportunity to respond to the questions, the Honorable Members will be disappointed. So I will be forced to ration the time now and say 2 minutes each and not more than that. Honorable Kandorodo, may you please proceed?
The topic is about hygiene at school.
No, it's a ministerial.
So my contribution is for the government to do away with community hostel so that we can have a universal food distribution program. Why should a parent of an A student eat from the so-called community menu, but a parent of a B student eat from a state-funded menu? We are all Namibian, we are all equal. Why should one be superior than the others? And as a result, many of them that are benefiting from the community hostel are from the marginalized, impoverished community. The government again have given the poor people to provide food for their own kids, but then have taken over the kids from the well-off to be subsidized with 3 meals per day. So therefore, find a way to bring back the community hostel and have a universal setup. It will remove this food poisoning game in school. It's very hard. It breaks my heart when I'm hearing some of these issues. Region. And Kavango region need attention, very seriously. I so submit.
Yeah, please, no one should make an intervention that is more than 2 minutes. Yeah. So, Honorable Thomas.
Yes. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone in this house, honorable members. You know, the problem with our parliament now, anyone don't want to take his blame. And then the thing become now or conduct otherwise. We are an adult. Let us just listen very well, and not also to pose words that will irritate others. I think this is the problem to our parliament currently. Nevertheless, I just want to go to the issue. Honorable Minister, it's not that I want maybe reject what was happening at school, but I just want to put maybe 2 questions. Because we are only talking about the hygiene in school. I think Kavango, 2 Kavango regions, by this time around, there are many poisons happening there. Some school, outside the school, and so on. Maybe we should look or generalize this question.
why is this region maybe is always that standard? My question here is this food was left over in school, was consumed in school, or where from the private retailers? If it's now from the private retailers, I want also to know that are these hostel kids, are they not bringing a self-service food from outside? How the ministry control this self-service food from outside?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Karuku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will be brief. Mine is an appeal. First of all, I would like to commend the ministry for the action it has taken. I listened to the regional director and also now to the briefing of the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much for updating us on what we have acted upon. My appeal is that through the ministry, the investigation officers, the health officials, I am requesting them to release the findings, because really it is becoming a concern in Kavango East. Some investigations are not yet released, and for that community to act accordingly, they should act on an informed position. So they should know what is the cause, what is the root cause, so that they can start engaging each other to ensure that any things that are leading to that is addressed. So that mine is just an appeal, Honorable Minister, to those investigation officers. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Kumbwa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the floor. It's a sort of an appeal also. What I see is, in the country, we have cooks that are responsible to cook the food of the children in the hostels. And these cooks are taken to hospital, whether on a routine basis or periodical basis. But then one thing, whether health inspectors, as they are inspecting food from shops, are they also obliged to inspect food from school hostels, government hostels, and also private community hostels? When did it happen in Namibia since the inception of these community hostels and government hostels? Are there certain services, are there certain routines that see to it that things are going well? Because we don't have the right answer to this question as I'm speaking now. Parliament is doubting, the minister is doubting, everybody is doubting, no conclusion where the poison is coming from. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Lizazi. Honorable Lizazi.
On the point of privilege, Honorable Speaker, where is the camera? I just wanted to implore to all honorable members, through you, Honorable Speaker, we all agree it's a serious matter, and when we are whatever we are doing in this house, we are doing it for the Namibian people, and we are providing service. We are here to serve the Namibian people. But coming here every day, for me personally, every day coming here, and I don't see that we reach to the order of the day. Every day coming here, I see that I'm wasting time.
And this wastage of time is really getting to me that I can't take it anymore. That I rose up and I have to speak. Because there are a lot of motions, there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of things, and we are not reaching to those things. When a ministerial statement is given, according to the rules, it says the questions should be very short questions. The presiding officer, I think, Honorable Speaker, we need to have an agreement that on a ministerial statement, how many people can we allow? Even the minister is overwhelmed with the questions. She does not know where she's going to start, where to end. Let us not sing a song that does not have the start and the end. We should have an end. We can't have things like this. I'm not here to play. I'm here to serve the Namibian people.
Continue.
Very good. Thank you, Honorable Lizazi. Point well made. We now have one last person on the list. And according to the rules and order, ministerial statements are to be no more than 10 minutes. And any member asking a question or making a comment is to take no longer than 3 minutes, and they have one chance. And when I tried to exercise that right to say, when we have had a number of people ask questions, we can stop and proceed to the next item. It was seen to be a violation of people's right to express themselves. So I'm happy to hear that other members are also concerned about the time we are taking on some issues. So Honorable Ampanda will be the last so that we can proceed to the next item.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. These incidences, actually, for every tragedy, there's also an opportunity to be able to do reform, to be able to change. And I hope, particularly Deputy Prime Minister, that you are here. In other countries, actually, there was a question that was posed with regards to who is doing the investigation and things like that. And you will have many other instances of that nature. Perhaps it's an opportune time where we follow what other countries have done. So other countries have, within the government, have what is called Special Investigation Unit. So the only role and the responsibility of such a unit is to investigate whatever it is that requires investigation in a credible, transparent, and predictable manner. So it's also going to assist even the government itself. So a case like this that happens, so if we had the Special Investigation Unit, it would have been on it already. Because that's what they do. Every day, every time. I didn't run away with anybody's books. So it is important for us to establish a Special Investigation Unit so that even the government can refer to say, can you please investigate this? And the government even receives a report. Our intervention are informed from the schools where we come from. Don't blame me. Yes, so time is, I have my time there. So Deputy Prime Minister and Minister, let's establish a Special Investigation Unit to be able to investigate some of these things so that we learn from this tragedy and we don't repeat the same mistake. It's a suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Now you have that long list. See how you can tackle it within a reasonable time.
Honorable Speaker and honorable members, and I do acknowledge that it is a sensitive matter, it leads to emotions, and I wish to assure you that I'm not wearing a political jacket, and I'm not being defensive about it. Like you, we care for what happens, and like you, we care for the truth. The 33 that I mentioned yesterday was the first initial report that I received. As I was briefing you, we said it is just an oral response. There was already then a preliminary investigation and a rapid response team that was sent. Yesterday, as we were in this house, these new numbers emerged. So I think with the best of intentions, we appreciate that it was an initial report followed by a preliminary report, and now we need to get to the bottom of a proper health report. The rapid response team has been there. The question was posed by the honourable members, who else will do the investigation? We have within our ministry responsible directorate, programs and quality assurance. But we will have to move with a team or a delegation consisting of the Office of the Prime Minister, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education, program and quality assurance, to go and study and again determine with evidence what has been the situation. We are guided by health inspectors and the experts that they have already sent to the school. We also have standard operating procedures. We do give training to our staff, but I also will admit that we need to do much more testing for our cooks and matrons in the hostels. There is testing that must take place, or that we will determine did they take place, or did the health testing of them not take place. So I wish to state here that with the standing operating procedures on the handling of food, we take note. But there's also another issue that is conflicted here. It's the issue of community hostels, which is totally different from government hostels. And to say that the government only construct for the indigenous minority community hostels is totally wrong. You have to be corrected there, sir. We've just unveiled in Doro, in Babwata Park, at a high cost, millions of dollars, a proper government hostel. Just to put the record straight. So I always ask, when we come to the house, much as you expect of me, to come with credible information, please, the same. If we say this is a community hostel that buys the food from cattle or from cattle that ate a poisonous plant, a herb plant, let us be specific so that we look into that. So I'll return to the House with a proper report, stating clearly what are the functions of a community hostels, who runs community hostels, how does that work, and how does the subsidy for a community hostel work, who constructs them, who maintains them, etc. And we will also bring to the House the fact that our menus, and I take it that you said we must approach the Office of the Prime Minister, but we must remember the dietitians work on our menus. Our menus are approved menus by the Ministry of Health. There are options, however, in the contract that should have mahangu, but today you don't have mahangu. You may substitute it with macaroni. So those things are clear, and therefore we say there must be an in-depth investigation equally on the company that provides the service, the catering company. What was on the menu for the week? Did they deliver what was on the menu? What was substituted, and how long has it been substituted? So all that is why I said that what I brought indeed was an expansion of what I gave as an oral. And I appreciate the concern that is expressed. You are equally, like all of us here, we are concerned that 174 children's lives were at risk, and we don't take lightly to it. Therefore, the teams have been prompt and proactive to involve the Ministry of Health. So please allow us to look into that. We've released the learners now, and we will have to address these health-related concerns. There are 2 appeals that is given to us. It's again related to the health report that must be released, that we take. There was also advice given, and of course we'll take it up with the Office of the Prime Minister. But yes, it will take time to fix things, my honourable members, things that are broken. But I wish to assure you that with your assistance and the concerns that you express here, that will guide us moving forward. But we have operating procedures already in place. We will bring you the detailed report. I will talk about the contractual obligations in that report. I will talk also about the menus that are presented and what transpired now in terms of the company that provided the food. All of that are legitimate matters that requires our attention. So I thank you very much for your concern, for your guidance, and also for the criticism, the constructive criticism. We are here to move forward knowing that many of the things that are mentioned are issues that we are dealing with. Many of the issues requires more evidence for us to take it forward, and I really thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Now we have only 30 minutes to go before it's knock-off time, and we have not started with the question papers. And I know that the Minister, I think, was saying she has 2 statements. Now I see the Minister of Finance is asking for the floor, maybe to make another statement. So I need to be guided whether we are going to go to the questions or we are going to. Point of privilege. Okay. Point of privilege from the Minister of Finance.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I stood on point of privilege. And the privilege, I will give you the gist. When we approved the budget, as per Article 63(2)(a), we said to ourselves that we are going to make sure that that budget is spent in an efficient manner. What do I want to say? I appreciate all our debates, but when you look at how much we have spent on printing these documents, as the National Assembly vote, us, all of us, it's a lot of money. And we really have to serve as an example, because the discussions are all critical, but equally, we also really want to go back to these documents. I plead with the Honorable Speaker and all of us to say, as ministers, we also want to make sure that we are delivering on our mandates. And these questions that are here are for us ministers. And you will end up saying that we are running away, but we don't run away. We want to give you responses. Can you give us a chance for also us to be talking? Because we don't ask you questions. We are here seated, at the end you will say that we are zombies. But we are not zombies. Zombies are those ones who are taking time because they do not understand.
Yes, thank you very much. Now we go to the questions. Now we are going to the questions, honorable members. Yeah, we go to the questions. Today being Thursday, we go to the question papers. Yeah. Okay, can I give 3 minutes to the minister? Because, honorable ministers, we are now going to not answer a single question. Okay, I give the 3 minutes to the minister. You see, that's the challenge that I'm having, honorable Minister of Justice. Every member of parliament, when they disagree with the speaker on an issue, they treat the speaker as if she has no regard for the rules and the law. She is trying to do this, she's trying to do the other one. When you try to accommodate this one and the other one, she is doing this and the other one. So we must agree whether we are going to comply with the rules or we want the speaker to exercise a discretion, even if it means we only discuss the one thing in a day. And then we don't accuse the speaker, we just say, we agreed today we have 10 items and we'll discuss only one. Yeah, so now I give to the minister, obviously we are not going to deal with the questions. There should be no accusations. We listen to her. We have follow-up questions that will not be more than 2 and for not more than 2 minutes. And then when it's exactly 5:45, we will rise. No person refusing to leave the floor. Yeah, Honorable Minister, you have the floor. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I'll be very brief. I won't go through the whole ministerial space statement, but it's a matter initiated at this August House by Honorable Amupanda, which emanated from his recent visit to the Kavango East. And during the said visit, he seems to have gathered information on one of the illegally operating schools within the Ndama settlement area, which information, without providing any context, he publicly shared, and since then it has been widely shared with the public through various media. The circulation of this information, as you will agree with me, has attracted significant attention from the wider public, resulting to varying discussions at different platforms by also various interested parties who have since made varying distorted conclusions due to the absence of appropriate context to the matter. And while we are appreciative of our stakeholders, we wish to state that as a ministry, we are frequently faced with queries, and we consider it as our duty to be at all times there to provide credible, accurate, and informative and educative feedback to our clients. It is therefore our resolve, having looked at what has been said, and while we welcome any queries, at the same time, I wish to appeal that I would urge any person to always first seek for clarity from the ministry before disseminating information that could distort the facts on the ground and grossly lead to misinformation or disinformation to the general public. It is therefore our resolve, honourable members, that through purposeful and planned, frequent, constructive and informed engagements, we will be able to provide all interested parties opportunities for self-assessment, reflection, and consequently accord each one of us an opportunity in our future undertakings as partners in the delivery of service to really be to the point and truthful. Having said that, I wish to state that the ministry has, after making an assessment over the years of its infrastructure problems, we have come up with the accelerated infrastructure development plan. That cost us, knowing what the situation is in all our 14 regions, over 2 years. Approached the Ministry of Finance, we got the exemption, we approached the public enterprises, in this case August 26, we constructed in the first year 510 classrooms. That is Swapo Party government. In the second year, again, 510 classrooms with sanitation. I'm moving to the point. This totaled to 1,022 classrooms built in less than 2 months to accommodate an average of 30,660 learners. And this targeted intervention also included the Kavango East region, with schools within the vicinity of Rundu town having been among the beneficiaries. I want to move to the point. To zoom into the crux of the matter, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members, in Kavango East alone, the Ministry constructed a total of 87 classrooms and 13 ablutions. Out of these, a total of 14 classrooms and 2 ablution facilities were built at Ndama South, specifically targeting the learners and to accommodate learners that were housed at 5 illegal schools that were operating under trees. These illegally operating schools were Ndama East Community Unregistered School, Ndama West Community Unregistered School, Tuhiringireni Community Unregistered School, Mangomba Community Unregistered School, and Ukumwe Community Unregistered School. These illegal schools were mainly established, now this is the issue, and operated by some unemployed teacher graduates who insisted that should a school be constructed, they must automatically take over on the payroll of government. That's the first thing I want to state. Upon the completion of the above construction, all the 5 illegal schools were directed in writing by the ministry on 20 September 2023 to close down their operations and to ensure that all learners at these schools are referred to the newly established schools and various other existing schools in the surrounding for integration. 4 of these illegally operated schools obliged to our directive and closed down their operations. However, one of them refused to heed the directive and remain in operation to this very moment. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, this is the very same school that Honourable Amupanda is purported to have visited when he then took some videos which he subsequently circulated to the public, regrettably without seeking for the ministry's input. I should mention here that this illegally operated school under the 12 trees with 552 learners, which in fact is 451 learners and 0 classrooms as per the titling of the Observer Daily, Tuesday, 2 September, is actually located 900 meters from the newly constructed and formally registered Ndama South Government School, which was constructed in 2023 and started operating in September the same year. If indeed the Honorable Amupanda had was well intending, as he could as well, he could just turn his camera around to project this beautifully and newly constructed government school to give a comprehensive but also objective situation of where the school is situated. There are 4 schools. Overcrowding is a problem in this country. We are having a decongestion plan. Let me continue. This school was intentionally and purposefully constructed to accommodate the same learners that are being now portrayed under trees, which they are. And we have it on records with minutes and with meetings being held by our former Deputy Minister after petition who went there. We have it on records that the teachers, the politicians, and the parents use these children as a political football, which is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Some parents flatly refuse to allow their children to be absorbed in the nearby government schools, including the newly constructed Ndama South. That is a collective shame that must be carried. Why have we allowed that so much power is given to those in the wrong who do not want to see that justice is served to those children that are there at that school? And why has it been taken so long politically to resolve that issue under the Regional Council, while the Honourable Governor has been in full support of that school being constructed at a land that was given by local authority to construct Ndama South? There's water at that school. Where they are right now, that land does not belong to the ministry. In fact, we've been trying to work with local authorities, going back to see that we get land. And there was a publication for the advertisement of land to be granted to the ministry. So I just wanted to put that in context. We have then been in constant engagements with these parents. We have evidence of the director being sent by my office to further engage the parents and try to convince them to enter our children in the government schools. We can take them in tomorrow with a platoon system while constructing a school. We will have to construct a school. Land is allocated to the ministry to construct that school. So, honourable members, regrettably, following the commencement of construction and the disagreements that emerged between the ministry and a segment of the Ndama community, as well as politicians on the ground, the matter remained unresolved. We sent a delegation there. We have the reports. We had the engagements. There was total refusal, even for a meeting to proceed with the Deputy Minister, the former Deputy Minister, Honourable Kalei. So, the issue, I want to skip all the other things. In this very house, in August 2023, the Honourable former Minister, Honourable Nipondoka, made a statement as to what was the outcomes of that visit and the findings and how we are moving forward. I wish to draw close. I will skip many things, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members. It is very clear from the above that the ministry was fully vested with the issue long before Dr. Amupanda became aware of same, and that the ministry continues, as it has always done in all instances, to engage all stakeholders to ensure that those learners under these 12 trees with no classrooms are rightly given their teaching and learning space, provided that all conditions will be provided. We now have established. You've been asking where are they coming from. We have been establishing exact number of learners coming from certain areas in the east. We are, as I said, ensuring that once we receive the land, we will proceed with construction. Finally, I wish to state, Honourable Members and Honourable Speaker, that the right to education is a fundamental and constitutional provision, and it is the duty of this ministry to ensure that every Namibian child receives quality education in a safe, legal, and enabling environment. To portray that these teachers are possibly on the payroll of government is wrong. These teachers are charging those parents for that service. These teachers are refusing for some parents to release their children to be absorbed into the government schools because they use it as a leverage to force the hand of government to employ them automatically should we construct another school. Therefore, we must not allow, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed honorable members, short-term political expediencies and unlawful practices, such as in this case, a school continuing to operate without solutions being provided, that we should not allow to compromise long-term national development goals, and in particular, the future of the Namibian child. I therefore urge all stakeholders, particularly the Ndama community, including Honorable Amupanda, to work collaboratively and with good intentions with the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture to ensure that education remains a unifying force. What you want, Doctor, is what we want. We want order, we want discipline, we want legal processes to be followed. You are very much for proper policies to be in place. So are we. And I think we can find each other amidst this all. I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Now we proceed. 1 minute, Honorable Ampanda. The time limit is up to time limit, top. Now we only have 10 minutes. Honorable member, I will allow everyone only 1 minute for only 2 members, maximum of 2.
So, Minister, Speaker, the statement was on me.
Okay, let me give you 1 minute so that you can respond. So that we don't spend your time on the discussion.
Okay, I think we will, okay. I did respond to Minister Kapofi previously when he went in that direction. You see, what I do and how I do it, none of you are going to change it. There will be more videos, so let's not even do that. There will be more video, there will be exactly the same thing to each one of you. We shouldn't even waste time on that. Now, Minister, you do very well as a technocrat, but my biggest fear is that this expectation that you must be a politician is going to give birth to a new Steenkamp. The Steenkamp that is professional, the Steenkamp that is result-oriented, the Steenkamp that is not political. I've known you for a long time. Even when I've disagreed with you, I would disagree with you on principles. I really just hope you don't become that politician. And I know there will be that demand for you to become that politician. Yeah? So whatever it is that, whatever the case may be, it's also very important that we do that. We cannot change the fact that 400 or 500, whatever the number, those kids are there.
Can Honorable Member ask the question, please, so that your time is not finished? Ask the supplementary question, so that you have the opportunity.
It was a ministerial statement.
Honorable Member, can you? I just want you to.
It was a ministerial statement. So I get 2 things from you in your statement. Ephraim, we are talking about education in school. School is important. So,
Honorable Member, just proceed your question. Just pose your question.
Okay. So, Minister, if there's anything, one of the things that I agree with you, this issue did not emerge after my visit. This issue emerged, I agree with you that obviously there were Ndama South and Ndama East established in the same circumstances. But one was established with the patronage of one politician belonging to a particular political party, and another one was done the same. One is stronger, one is not. But I'm very happy that you are alive to the fact that there's a collective shame that politician, one win and one doesn't win. But there's a big problem that we're now having, because what you are saying in your statement and the correspondence between the education director and the local authorities.
Honorable Member, you are no longer asking a question, you are just making a comment.
So,
Otherwise,
important.
Minister cannot even answer. Because
It is
he will
important
give time.
that how we deal with these issues of illegality. The government is spending about 200 million into formalizing the informal settlement. And formalizing that informal settlement.
Honorable Member, I know that education is an important issue. And that is why I suggest that sometimes, maybe if we want to discuss an issue, let's bring a motion. Because when a ministerial statement is made, it may highlight a number of things that would trigger us to want to discuss the issues. But we cannot discuss them under the statement because of the time limit that is put there. So if you would like to discuss the issue, I suggest that you bring a motion. Because here you have a time limit of not more than 3. Not more than means it can be 1. It can be 1.5. And now we only have a few minutes to knock off time. No, they addressed, okay, now, Honorable Member. Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. Okay, now, Honorable Members, I don't know whether the Minister wants to say something in 2 minutes because the member did not finish the question. The time is out, Honorable Members. It's 2 minutes, 3 minutes before knock-off time. And I would like to invite the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, to propose adjournment of the House until next week, Tuesday, at 14 hours 30.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the House stand adjourned until Tuesday, 2:30.
Thank
Next
you.
week, Tuesday.
Okay. The House adjourns, honorable members.
Located in the northwestern part of Namibia lies the Kunene